Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Ninja Mommy. Okay guys, here's a little background about me and my family. I come from a very cultural family. I was born in Pakistan. My family is Pakistani. My mother is very cultural. We are Muslim, and I would call my family moderately Muslim, moderately practicing. We are also Punjabi. So if you are Punjabi, you already know what that means. If you're not Punjabi, then you guys, Punjabis are the funnest people. Funnest, that's not a word. Punjabis are literally like so much fun to hang out with. They're loud. They're like very out there. They like to party. They like to, you know, they're very proud of who they are. Especially me as a Rajput, which is like my caste, I guess you can say. Very proud people, very big-hearted people as well. So when you think of a Pakistani Punjabi wedding, you're thinking dhol, lots of music, lots of partying. It goes crazy, guys. Like, people go crazy. Weddings in my families have always been a huge deal. Weddings last for like a month. People go crazy. There's so many days that I can't keep track of. So many traditions, so many cultural practices. And I, growing up, always dreamed of having a big, blasting Pakistani Punjabi wedding with like going all out. That was like my dream when I was growing up. But then I started taking my religion seriously. I seriously started practicing Islam, and I went deep into it and really like embraced all the practices of Islam and all the rulings of Islam. And so now imagine, okay? I am on this level where I'm just like really deep into Islam, and I am the only one in my family that wears the niqab, guys. So like, my family is still moderately Muslim. They're still cultural, more so. They're still more on the culture side than they are on the Islam side. And now comes the time for me to get married. How am I gonna do it? Am I still gonna have my big Punjabi Pakistani wedding? Or am I gonna have my Muslim wedding? That was a huge challenge for me, guys. A huge challenge. Okay guys, so Muslim weddings are very simple, okay? You have the nikah, which is the religious ceremony. You can think of it as going to the church, saying I do, exchanging your vows. That would be like the nikah, right? The religious part of the wedding. And then there is the walima. Walima is optional. It's like a reception, and it's always hosted from the guy's side. And like I said, it's optional. It's still not required in Islam, but it's heavily emphasized that you should do it. It's a good thing if you do it. But if you can't afford to do a reception, that's okay as well. And the whole purpose of the walima is just to announce the wedding, feed the poor and needy, or feed your family and friends and stuff like that. And, you know, just be happy about getting married, because getting married is such a happy occasion. So the nikah and the walima, those are the only two things that are considered Islamic, or that could be considered a Muslim wedding. Now everything else is influenced by culture. So me coming from a Pakistani background, we have Mehndi, we have the Barat, we have Mayo, we have the Tolki, we have a Ruxti, we have Tel Patti. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but there are endless amount of cultural practices that people partake in. Now, as long as those cultural practices don't go against Islam, they're allowed. If they go against Islam or go against the teachings of Islam, then they're not allowed. If you guys are curious about what is and isn't allowed in a Muslim wedding, you can go ask an Islamic scholar and they'll tell you all about it. The beauty of Islam is simplicity. Nikah is so simple and so easy. You don't even have to go to the mosque to do it, but it's actually better if you do. But literally, you just go, you say, you know, accept, you offer the I do's, and that's it. And you're married. Simple as that. Even the reception is optional, guys. So there's no burden on the couple. You don't have to take thousands and thousands of dollars of debt. You don't have to save thousands and thousands of dollars just for your wedding. Islam has made weddings and marriages very, very simple. I always say that Islam has made getting married so easy, but society has made it so difficult because there are so many expectations culture-wise that you have to do, and the number of people that you have to invite, and this and that, and you know, log kya kahenge and all that. What will the people say if you don't do this or if you don't do that? That it's just, you know, it's such a burden for people, for certain people, right? Just remember guys, Muslim weddings are very simple. Any other type of weddings will differ based on culture. So now my dream of having this big grand Punjabi wedding, it was gone. I actually had no inclination towards it. I was like, I don't need that. I just wanted a simple Muslim wedding. Whew, boy, telling that to my mom, that was not easy. Not easy at all. I went up to my mom and I was like, Ammi Jaan, mujhe bas aap masjid mein le jao. मस्जिद में मैं अपना निकाह कर लूँगी और वहाँ से मैं रुखसत हो जाऊँगी आराम से, you know. I told my mom that whatever I just said in Urdu, I'll translate it for you, that mom, I'll just go to the mosque, get my I-do's done, you know, get my nikah done, and I'll just go. Simple. Just, you know, say my farewells from the mosque. My mom looked at me like, excuse me, are you out of your mind? The very first thing she said, log kya kahenge? What will the people say? And I was like, Mom, I'm not getting married for the people. I'm getting married for myself. Like, she's like, oh, like, shh, stop talking. So we had a little back and forth regarding like which cultural practices that I was willing to include in the wedding and which cultural practices we had to let go. So first came the question of Mehndi, which is basically henna night. Culturally, henna night is when everybody comes together. There's music, there's dancing, there's henna applied on the bride and the bride's friends. Nowadays, Mehndi or henna night is done with the guys and girls together in a hall where there's mixed genders, there's mixed gathering happening, guys and girls are there, and guys and girls are dancing together. There's a lot of, I would say, haram activities that take place in a Mehndi. And I told my mom that there's nothing wrong with having a Mehndi, like there's nothing wrong with me inviting only my girlfriends over, my friends who are girls, and we can apply henna. Like I can get my henna done, they can get their henna done, there will be no music, we can just chill. So my mom was like, that's not a Mehndi, that just sounds super boring, not gonna happen. So I'm like, okay. So we didn't have a Mehndi. Again, going back to this whole, these people, like my community has these expectations of what a Mehndi is and what it's turned into. Then when I try to offer like a more Islamic approach to Mehndi, they were like, ooh, that sounds really boring. Like my sister's religion, like what are we gonna do there? Like just sit there and just stare at each other's faces? Like that's so, I'm like, no, we can do other activities. But they're like, no, that sounds really boring. Like we don't want that. So I didn't end up having a Mehndi. The biggest thing from my mom was that she did not want to give me away from the mosque. She wanted to give me away from an actual hall. So like she wanted to have a reception from the girl side, and she wanted to, you know, give me farewell in a proper way in front of everybody that's sitting there and give people food and stuff like that. So I agreed to that. However, there were conditions on that as well, and we had another back and forth about it. Usually the reception from the girl side, which is known as Barat or Rukhsti, happens where guys and girls are in a hall together. There's music, again there's dancing, there's this Doodh Palaiki rasam that took place in my sister's wedding that I showed you guys. And there's a lot of other cultural practices that take place, like Juta Chupai, where you hide the groom's shoes and stuff and then you ask them for money. Basically a lot of fun, I guess, cultural practices that people do at the wedding. So my mom and I had to discuss those as well. From the get-go, I told her that I don't mind having a rukhsi, but the girls and the guys had to be in separate halls. again, which was a huge shock to my mom. She was like, what do you mean they have to be in a separate hall? Like the men on one side, the women on one side, like, you know, how are we gonna do that? Like, you're gonna separate the husbands and wives from each other? And like, I'm like, it was really hard for my mom to like comprehend that whole process. Simply because that's just not how things are done in a Pakistani Punjabi wedding. That's just not how it's done. People put more emphasis on culture than they do on religion, and that's just a sad reality, guys. And I was just not on that same mindset as my family, so I wanted things completely Islamic on my wedding day. The other reason I wanted it separate with girls on one side and guys on one side, because I didn't want to wear a niqab on my wedding day. Like, it's my wedding day, for God's sake. I want to look beautiful. Like, I look beautiful with it, but I wanted to look, you know, dressed up. I wanted to apply makeup. I wanted to get my hair done. I wanted to wear my gown without the hijab, without the niqab, and I got to do that with all my girls. So my mom agreed to that. I dressed up like a doll, and yeah, it was only girls on my side, and I feel like there was so much blessing in that wedding, like, because it was all Islamically done, and that just made me really happy, and I was able to chill. There was also no music, neither on the guy's side, neither on the girl's side. No music whatsoever. I also had a lot of niqabi friends, and I wanted them to attend my wedding without having to wear the niqab, so they felt really comfortable at my wedding, and they were able to attend and able to hang out with me. They were able to dress up as well, and you know, we all looked beautiful. I did compromise a little bit, guys. Like, my husband and I, we did compromise just a tad bit with my mom, because you know, she was compromising a lot for me, and she was giving up a lot for my sake and my beliefs, so I gave up a little bit too. Like I said, as long as it wasn't going against Islam, I was okay with it. One of the things that she wanted really like badly to do was, as the girl is like, you know, doing the farewell, there's this Pakistani cultural practice where they put the holy book of Quran on top of the bride's head as she's walking away, which is a huge innovation in Islam. So I was not okay with that, and I did not want my mom to do that. She had a hard time letting that one go, so in return we came up with a compromise that, okay, if you're not gonna do that, then your husband has to walk you inside the hall. So my mom didn't want me to walk, like, you know, the entrance of the bride. She didn't want me to do that alone with only my friends, so she wanted my husband to walk me in. So for that duration, I allowed that for him to walk me in. For that duration, he took me to the stage. I sat there, and then I was like, bye. And then she also wanted him to come and cut the cake with me on the girl's side, so he came for a little bit onto the girl's side, and he cut the cake with me. Only him, no one else. So we did compromise a little bit here and there, so it wasn't completely like what I want. I also gave a little bit to my mom as well. I have a funny story about the entrance. Before we entered, like, basically we went to the hall, my husband and I, prior to anyone coming there, and you know, we had a photo shoot and whatever. After the photo shoot, we were kicked out. We were kicked out of our own wedding, guys, because my mom was like, you can't come back in until all the guests have arrived. So my husband and I, we already had our nikah done prior to that. We had our nikah done in the mosque on Friday, and then Saturday was the reception and the rukhsi, so we were already married, right? So we were just chilling in the car, and I'm like all dressed up in my wedding gown, and I had to go pray, and he had to go pray, and we're like, okay, we're not allowed back in the hall, what do we do? So we went to the nearest mosque to pray our salah, and I was all dressed up, so I couldn't really. So what I had a big shawl with me. I put the big shawl on my head, and I'm entering the mosque, and he's like, you know, guiding me, but he can only go a certain way because men and women are separated at the mosque, right? So then he saw a lady, and I was like, excuse me, can you please take me to the women's section, because it's my wedding day and I need to pray. And that girl was so nice to me. May Allah bless her, may Allah reward her. So she like guided me up the stairs. Like, I'm literally covered, right? I couldn't see anything. It was like a burqa style shawl. So she took me upstairs, and I finally got to pray. And I prayed in the mosque. And after that, she waited for me to finish my prayer, and then she guided me back and took me back to my husband. After that, we went to Starbucks. So we were just having a little date of our own while we're waiting for the guests to arrive. And we went to Starbucks and we told them it's our wedding day, and they gave us free Starbucks, so thank you. And then we're just chilling in the car waiting and waiting, and like they served the appetizers. I was starving, guys, like literally starving, and like my husband and I were like, what are we supposed to do? Like, should we go out to eat or something? Imagine going out to eat on your wedding day. So we're just sitting outside in the parking lot. You know, I just text my best friend. I'm like, you know what, we're starving, they have served the appetizers, just bring us a plate. So my best friend made a plate for me, and she brought it for me outside in the car, and we ate appetizers on our wedding day in the car because my mom would not let me enter until all the guests have arrived. Come on, Mom. The things that we do for our moms. Still love her. So finally the guests arrived, and then my husband took me in. Majority of the people from my community, from my Pakistani community, had never ever attended a wedding like that, where men and women are separated. And a lot of them liked it. They enjoyed it. They felt free and they felt more comfortable. And all the girls, all the hijabis that usually wear hijab at weddings, they literally did not wear hijab at my wedding. They were able to dress up. They were able to get their hair done and like dress up and look nice, and like without worrying about men around. And they felt nice. And I collected all my girls, like all my friends came up to the stage, and we're just chilling, and I'm giving them advice on stuff, and they're giving me marriage advice, and we're just having a heart-to-heart on my wedding day on the stage. And I remember one of my friends like pointing it out. She's like, Sidra, I have never ever been to a wedding like this, and this is just so beautiful. We were legit, all of my friends, just chilling on the stage and just talking away and just having a heart-to-heart conversation. It just felt so nice and so pure. I can say I had lots of fun on my wedding day. It felt pure to me. It aligned with my beliefs, my Islamic beliefs, and it was the most perfect Muslim wedding that I could ever ask for. So thank you, Mom. Thank you so much for being so understanding, even though we had our ups and downs. Thank you so much for like cooperating with me and compromising with me and making my special day even extra, like more special for me. I love you, Mommy. Now for the reception from the guy side, the walima, it's sunnah to do the walima within 3 days. And now my husband's side of the family are, I would say, they're more religious and they're more practicing than my side of the family. So how did we do the walima, guys? It was very simple, and we went to a restaurant and we fed our family and friends. Just that's it. It was just a dinner, and that was our walima. Our nikah took place at the mosque. There was a rukhsi and there was a walima. That's it. That was my Muslim wedding. So after our nikah at the masjid, everybody was like telling my husband, look at her face, look at her face, look at her face, like now she's your wife, like look at her face. He's like, chill guys, chill. I will. This guy is so calm and collected, just standing next to me taking pictures. I'm like, aren't you the least bit curious, like to look at my face? Like, let's go. And he's like, nah, I'm good. Like, you're my wife now, I'm good. I'm like, okay. So then finally, this is how the ultimate face reveal happened, guys. We went to the car and we went somewhere where there was no one around that could see me. And I was like, are you ready for this? He's like, sure. This guy was, his enthusiasm level was like, and I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3. And he was like, mashallah. Legit, that's what this boy said, mashallah. And he had like the biggest smile on his face too when he said that. So I'm like, are you happy? Like, do you like me? Am I beautiful? Are you good? It's not too late yet. Actually, we're already married, but it's still not late. It's not too late. But yeah, he was really happy. He said mashallah, and that's where my ultimate face reveal happened, in a car. So basically my nikah took place on Friday, my walima took place in the evening, and then my rukhsi, like official rukhsi, giving away of the bride, took place the following day. So basically our nikah was done, meaning our wedding is done. It's like we're husband and wife now, and I still had to ask my mom for permission to like go out with him in the evening after the walima. And my mom's like, yes, but don't be too late. Bruh, that's another cultural thing. In the mind of Desi people, in the mind of Pakistani people, until the rukhsati is done, they won't let you go out with your husband, or they'll like still restrict certain activities that you can't do with your husband. Another cultural thing, guys. So I had to ask my mom for permission to hang out with my husband. Crazy, right? So you guys, here's the lollipop of this entire story. The most blessed weddings in Islam are the most simple wedding. The simpler you go, the better it is, the more blessing it has. Islam does not encourage crazy amount of spending, especially if you can't afford it. And I know so many families, especially from my culture, that spend ridiculous amount of money on their weddings, the money that they don't have, and they're only doing it for cultural expectations. Log kya kahenge, what will the people say if we don't do this, if we don't do that? It's all cultural practices. I also wanted to make this video as a motivation for the people who are more on the religious side and their families more on the cultural side. And if you wanna go the Islamic way, if you want to have a pure Muslim wedding, it is possible. When I tell you my mom is the most cultural person I know, trust me, no one beats her in that. It is still possible, guys. You can do it. Just do it with respect, with understanding. Don't disrespect your parents and say haram, haram, this is haram, this is haram, astaghfirullah, you guys are gonna burn. And like, don't say stuff like that. Obviously, be diplomatic, be understanding, compromise a little bit where you can, and you know, give in where you can, and just have a peaceful wedding. It is possible. You can do it. If I was able to do it coming from a very cultural family, you can do it too. You can have an Islamic wedding if that's what you really want, and that's what you're really, like, that's what your heart desires. Trust me, your family will understand. Don't start the rest of your life with your spouse in an impermissible way and gaining the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instead of gaining his blessings. Nikah, a wedding, a marriage is supposed to be the most beautiful thing and most blessed thing in Islam, guys. Do it the right way. I know so many hijabis that just take their hijab off on their wedding day as if the rules of hijab and rules of modesty don't apply on their wedding day. Like, it's not true. You still have to wear your hijab on your wedding day, especially if you're having a mixed gathering. You shouldn't be having a mixed gathering to begin with, but if you are, like, still gotta keep that hijab on. Like, the rules of hijab do not go away or magically disappear on your wedding day, guys. I'm not judging, I'm just saying. Many of you asked me to share my wedding pictures, and here they are. Alright guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know, comment below, let me know what you guys think. What type of wedding did you have? Share with me, and also comment below some video ideas for me to do as well. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. If you have subscribed already, just like here. I'll reward you tremendously for it. Next week, I can share with you guys my whole moving thing, how it was moving to a completely different country. I had never been to Canada in my entire life, so I'll share with you my entire experience from moving to packing to going to Canada, and how it was and how I liked Canada. So yeah, come back next week, guys. I'll share that with you. Thank you so much for all the love and support that you guys have shown me, and until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace. Okay, bye.